It is NFL season. Welcome to the Underdog Fantasy Pick'em show on the LineStar YouTube channel. Alongside my co-host Tyler Wiemann, I am Shannon Sommerville. And today we present to you our 5 best Pick'em plays on Underdog Fantasy. It's going to be a great season. We're already getting into it for week 1 here. Great to kick things off here again with Underdog Fantasy. If you don't already have the Underdog Fantasy app, I highly recommend you download it today. Use the promo code LineStar and you can get a bonus deposit match up to $1,000. Yes, you heard that right. $1,000. Plus, you'll also get 1 free month of LineStar as well. So take advantage of that deal. Again, the promo code to use there is LineStar. Also, right now, Underdog Fantasy is running a ton of promotions. You'll get free picks. And there's a lot coming out lately with Underdog Fantasy. So keep up with them for the latest and make sure you download your Underdog Fantasy app today. It's a great app if you are into fantasy sports. It's the way to do it, especially as we get set for an exciting NFL season ahead. Also, if you could do me a huge favor before we get into our picks for today, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment below. Now, as we kick things off, here on the LineStar YouTube channel, we like to make everything a contest and give our viewers a chance to win some money as well. So what we're going to do is put $5 on all of our picks together on an entry on Underdog Fantasy. So if we cash, that would be a cash prize of $100. We will give that out to a randomly selected commenter. So all you got to do to be in the contest is make sure you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you comment below. Let us know what your picks are for this week in NFL. Week 1, Tyler, is always an interesting one. Heading into the week, a lot of unknowns. So how do you approach week 1 from a pick'em perspective?
From a pick'em perspective, I'm either staying away from the situation or I'm kind of leaning hard into it if the line looks very, very low, where a situation could be the guy plays way more than expected. Then I'll lean into that. But if the line is a little high and it's an unknown situation, I'm just backing off totally.
Now, last season at this time, I do have to give you some props, Tyler, because one of those unknown situations that you had quite the read on was Puka Nacua. So maybe we can get one of those picks for today. That was a good one. Week 1 last year. I remember it.
Plus money too. It was like plus 150. And all he needed was like 2 receptions or something like that. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was awesome.
We don't get those situations that often.
Puka Nacua ended up having a pretty good year for himself. Let's talk about some receivers who could also have a good year in our pick'em selections for today on Underdog Fantasy. We're going to have 3 that are from the PropsAI tool on the LineStar app. If you haven't checked it out yet on the LineStar app, it's a tool that can help you find the best value for pick'ems, specifically for Underdog Fantasy. So we'll start off with those 3, and then Tyler and I will give our selections. All right, week 1, here we go. And is there a more fitting way to start things off than with a Georgia Bulldog? As a Georgia Bulldog fan, I can highly endorse our first pick, McConkey for the Los Angeles Chargers, higher than 37.5 receiving yards. LineStar's projection is all the way at 55.9. McConkey's an excellent receiver. He's a rookie, so there is some risk associated, but I think we can have high confidence in him. He was in the 98th percentile in receiving grade, and receiving grade versus single coverage. He was also 91st percentile or higher in creating separation. Just an amazing receiver. And when you look at the Chargers receiving room, they lost a ton of guys this offseason. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams are gone. So basically the depth chart was wide open for McConkey to come in. He had a great preseason and the job's there for the taking. Maybe even wide receiver 1, although that spot currently occupied by Joshua Palmer. But who knows? And this week facing the Las Vegas Raiders, yes, they have a great secondary, but this play is more about the volume that we predict that he'll get week 1. What do you think about McConkey?
Of course, you moved this one to the very top of the show to go off first, being the Georgia homer you are. But I think Lad is a very good player, and he is going to come into a ton of volume. I don't expect, super high snap rates, super high volume today, but I think 37.5 is just way too low. We also do need to add that Joshua Palmer was just added to the injury report today. He was a full participant, but they did note that there was some sort of knee issue. So it's just another situation where Lad maybe plays a little bit more, but all in all, very good talent, great quarterback, throwing him the ball, and 37.5 is just too low.
All right, let's move along to another wide receiver, one who probably went top 5 in your fantasy football draft this year, and who you might have a newfound appreciation for after watching the Netflix show Receivers. I'm talking about Detroit Lions wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown. We're going higher than 85.5 receiving yards for him. LineStar's projection endorses this with a projection of 96.2. In fact, last season, he was averaging 94.7 and went higher than 85.5 in 13 of the 20 games he played last season, including in the playoffs against the best of the best defenses. And all of that while he was playing through an injury. He was dealing with a toe injury early, and then it came out in that Netflix documentary that he was actually dealing with a severe oblique injury. So I definitely think 85.5 is just too low for a player of his caliber. What do you think?
I agree. The Rams lost people on defense. They're ranked 29th, allowing 188.4 receiving yards to the wide receiver over the last 9 games. You mentioned the playoff game. He had 110 yards. Last season, he was the most consistent receiver, in the league. It was 100 yards or a touchdown pretty much every single game. More often than not, it was getting the yardage. So I like it. And I'm going to just keep riding Amon-Ra like we did all season last season.
Absolutely. And when you look at the Rams defense, you mentioned them losing some key pieces. Obviously, Aaron Donald is gone. And also they lost their defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris. He's now the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. And also, the Rams secondary a bit banged up as we head into this first week. Quarterback Darius Williams placed on IR. Cornerback Kobe Durant also limited with a hamstring injury in practice. So it's looking like the Rams secondary might be a little banged up as we head into week 1, which would be a great advantage for some of those receivers on the Lions, specifically Amon-Ra. And that is a player you don't want to get loose in space, especially in Detroit where this game is. So like that pick there. Next up, let's go to a running back, shall we? All right, we're going James Conner, higher than 53.5 rushing yards. LineStar's projection, 67.5. Now, a couple notes on Conner as we head into week 1. So despite ranking last season 21st in rushing attempts, he ended up being 6th in rushing yards in the NFL, and he ranked 7th in explosive run rate, 8th in missed tackles per forced attempt, 5th in yards after contact per attempt. And, the offensive coordinator of the Arizona Cardinals says, you know what, James Conner, he's our bell cow guy, at least to start the season. What do you expect from Conner as the Cardinals open up their season against the Buffalo Bills?
I love the spot for James Conner. The offense as a whole is upgraded. They added Marvin Harrison, should take some of the focus off Conner in the backfield. But look, this is a defense they're going against where the Bills allowed 4.6 yards per carry. It was 6th worst in the NFL. Conner was over in 10 of 13 games. It is going to be him at the beginning of the year being an absolute workhorse. They brought in Trey Benson, but he's still a rookie. Most of the time, rookie running backs are brought along very, very slowly. So with all of that going for him, I like James Conner to go over in this spot.
All right, so those are our first 3 picks coming from the PropsAI tool on the LineStar app. Now it is time for Tyler and I to plant our pickem flag for the week in one particular play. So where are you headed, Tyler, for yours?
I'm going to head to Drake London, higher than 60.5 receiving yards. LineStar projection 72.5. London has been better in dome environment games. He has a new quarterback, a new pass heavy system. 2023 Steelers allowed the 3rd highest yards per reception in the NFL with 12 yards per reception. He averaged, Drake London, that is, 56.5 yards with a now practice squad quarterback and Arthur Smith, who is allergic to throwing the ball. Can he get 60.5 with Kirk Cousins? Absolutely. I like the spot for London to go over.
Maybe a little revenge against Arthur Smith in that one across the field.
That's true, too.
Success is the best revenge, as they always say. All right, for my pick, I am going to the Cleveland Browns and Amari Cooper, higher than 56.5 receiving yards. LineStar's projection here for Cooper is 85.1, which is kind of right in line with what his average was last season, 83.3. And in fact, he was over 90 receiving yards in 4 of the 5 games that he did play with Deshaun Watson last season. So there may be some hesitation about Deshaun Watson and what he's going to look like, but I have no hesitation in the fact that he's going to get Cooper the ball, however he has to do it. Also, they've got a new offensive coordinator in Cleveland, Ken Dorsey, who's had success getting the best out of quarterbacks, specifically Cam Newton back with the Panthers when he won the MVP, and then Josh Allen. So they're going up against Dallas, though. So this is where I could see people saying, Dallas is a really tough defense. However, they did lose their defensive coordinator. Remember, Dan Quinn is now a head coach in Washington. Plus, Trayvon Diggs is coming back off ACL injury he sustained just a year ago. So may have lost maybe a little bit of a step. So if he's put on Cooper, I think Cooper has the advantage in that one. And listen to this stat I pulled from Next Gen Stats. In 2023, the Watson-Cooper duo ranked among the most efficient pairings in the league. And they connected of the quarterback wide receiver duos who connected for 30 more targets, Watson and Cooper ranked 2nd in EPA per target, 3rd in passer rating on targets, and 6th in yards per target, 5th in successful play rate. The Cooper-Deshaun Watson duo will be in full force starting week 1, and I think that number of 56.5 receiving yards is just too low, and I can't pass that up. We're going higher with Amari Cooper there. So what we're going to do is we're going to put all of these picks on an entry on Underdog Fantasy. We're putting $5 on it, and if we win, we get $100. We will give out that $100 to a randomly selected commenter. So you got to be in it to win it. All you need to do, again, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. And also, if you don't have Underdog Fantasy, make sure to download it. And again, the key is to use that promo code LineStar. You'll get a deposit match bonus up to $1,000 right now on Underdog Fantasy. They're running a ton of fun promotions as well. You'll get also a free pickem pick as well. So it's basically like Dak Prescott over 0.5 passing yards. So you can pair that with maybe one of ours. Also, play responsibly, mix and match them. Another really great tactic is to what is called stacking. Tyler, do you want to kind of explain stacking in terms of pickem?
It's just stacking correlated players together. So you're talking about receivers to pass catchers being good, quarterbacks to pass catchers, I should say. Mm-hmm. So Kirk Cousins and Drake London, or Derek Carr and Olave or Shaheed, just putting those together to give you a better chance as hitting a bigger parlay.
So mix and match, have some fun with it on Underdog Fantasy. But the picks that we are rolling with on our entry is going to be Lad McConkey, higher than 37.5 receiving yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 85.5 receiving yards, higher. James Conner, higher than 53.5 rush yards. Drake London, higher than 60.5 receiving yards. And Amari Cooper, higher than 56.5 receiving yards. You can just tail our ticket right on Underdog Fantasy if you would like, and make sure to check out all of the content that we've got coming out here on the LineStar YouTube channel, including some game previews. And we've also got some MLB plays as well for the next couple weeks or so as we close out MLB season. So keep it locked on the LineStar YouTube channel. And again, your comment below enters you in to win. Let's go make some money this weekend in week 1. Good luck, everybody. We'll see you next time.